Dear viewers, welcome to the Stories of Hope channel. Make yourself comfortable. We're starting. Early in the morning, Emma sat in the kitchen drinking tea. She gazed out the window, admiring the leaves unfurling on the trees. Spring has finally arrived. I was so tired of winter, she thought. The sun's rays were already warming through the window, casting shadows of the trees on the pavement and the roof of the three-story building across the street. Despite the warmth from the sun, the familiar warmth in the apartment had long been absent. Emma sat with her cold cup of tea, reminiscing about how she and Alex used to drink tea together. She remembered the plans they used to make. Where did it all go? Why did it end? Emma didn't know how to get back those bright moments of their shared life. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. Alex entered the kitchen and sat down at the computer. What are you doing? Emma tried to start a conversation. Checking my email, Alex replied coldly. Why don't you even look at me? She asked. What's there to see? He replied gruffly. Emma was hurt by his response. It was painful to hear this from her own husband. She realized that everything they had built together over the years was slipping away from her. It's hard to accept that my own husband feels like a stranger, Emma thought. The home's warmth had long extinguished, replaced by a chill. She wished she could get everything back to how it was. Trying to hold back tears, she took a sip from her cold cup of tea. Alex now seemed like an incomprehensible person to her. His thoughts were distant. He no longer felt as close and familiar. He was now just sharing the apartment with her as a stranger might. Emma remembered how she used to wait for him every day after work. She would watch the clock, counting the minutes until he came home. The door would open, and she would rush to greet him at the threshold. He would hug her, kiss her, and tell her about his day. Now, those were just distant memories. They were nothing but a source of deep sadness for her. Alex had even stopped coming into Emma's room. He would come home from work and lie down in front of the TV. He no longer had dinner at home. When he went to work, Emma felt a sense of relief. It seemed to her that even the space in the apartment became larger. Emma faced a tragedy. She learned that her grandmother, who lived 3,000 miles away, had passed away. She had to go there to settle the inheritance. The inheritance included a 2-bedroom apartment. After finalizing the inheritance, Emma immediately sold her grandmother's apartment. She and Alex had many debts, including a mortgage. Maybe getting rid of the debts will save our marriage, Emma thought. Well, if that doesn't help, I don't know what will. The news about the sale of her grandmother's apartment greatly pleased Alex. He walked around the apartment, counting how he would close the debts. We can finally get rid of this cursed mortgage, Alex said with enthusiasm. His eyes sparkled, and for the first time in a long while, he hugged Emma. It seemed suspicious. Emma suspected that Alex had become so kind and friendly only because he received money from her. She decided to consult a lawyer about who would get the money from the sale of the apartment if the couple decided to divorce. Emma decided to call her friend and ask if she knew any good lawyers. 7 months later, after covering all the family debts, Alex began to disappear in the evenings. Where have you been going? Emma asked. Don't worry, everything's fine. Just staying late at work, he said. Alex had become just like he was before the mortgage was paid off. Tenderness had disappeared. He was always silent and irritable. Conversations about restoring the family were of no use. One day, Emma decided to file for divorce and divide the property. She was tired of having just a lifeless statue of a person with a phone as her husband. Alex returned home late from work again and sat down to drink tea, staring at his phone. I'm filing for divorce, Emma declared. Okay, if that's what you want, go ahead, Alex replied indifferently. He was unconcerned. Emma realized she had made the right decision. The next day, Alex's mother, Victoria, showed up at the doorstep. Here's the deal, she started as soon as she entered. Half of the apartment belongs to us. On what grounds? Emma asked in shock. The apartment was bought during the marriage, so half is ours. Victoria yelled. Excuse me, but almost all of the mortgage was paid off with money I received from the sale of the inheritance. And so, Victoria roared like a beast. You need to prove that these funds came from the inheritance. Don't worry, I'll prove it, Emma calmly replied. If you think everything will go as you wish, you are deeply mistaken. I will fight for half of the apartment. And what does it have to do with you? Emma asked. What do you mean? What does it have to do with me? Alex is my son, and the apartment is mine, Victoria screamed. We will fight together. Using various swear words directed at Emma, Victoria stormed out of the apartment. Emma realized that the difficulties were just beginning. She understood that the court would not be easy. Victoria would most likely hire a lawyer as well. It's good that I saved all the documents for the transfer of money. I don't need to request anything, Emma thought. Days passed, and Alex was not seen at home. Emma even felt relieved. She started feeling much better. Meanwhile, her lawyer was preparing the documents for court. The lawsuit was written, the court fee was paid. The entire package of documents was sent to the district court. Now all that was left was to wait for the preliminary court hearing. A month later, her lawyer called Emma and informed her of the preliminary hearing date. After the call, there were 3 weeks left before the court, which passed very quickly. Arriving at the court at the appointed time, Emma was amazed by the architecture of the building. It looked like a palace, a true palace of justice. She climbed the marble staircase and went inside. At the entrance, she was greeted by court officers. They inspected her handbag and asked her to pass through a metal detector. The security system is like in an airport, Emma thought as she handed her passport at the registration window. While her details were being entered into a special log, she quickly looked around and spotted where the elevator was. Take your passport and go up to the 5th floor, said the court worker from the window. Emma took her documents, passed through the turnstile like in the subway, and headed for the elevator. Near the courtroom, Emma saw familiar faces. By the door sat a gloomy Alex and a satisfied Victoria. She was whispering with a man. Emma sat down across from them. After a few minutes, Emma's lawyer arrived and sat next to her. Court proceedings proved to be emotionally very challenging for Emma. I didn't realize it would be so hard, she told her lawyer. Well, you don't have to attend the hearings. I have a notarized power of attorney from you. No, Victoria lies so much that I can't miss this and not refute it. Alex and his lawyer had come up with the idea of bringing a targeted gift agreement to court, claiming that his mother, Victoria, had gifted him money for the purchase of the disputed apartment. Naturally, Emma's lawyer immediately requested a court-appointed expert examination. This examination would determine the actual date of the document's creation. Emma was 100% sure that no such document existed before the court proceedings. They, on the advice of Emma's lawyer, and her mother, had deliberately created such a document to claim the apartment for themselves. But as soon as Emma's lawyer filed this request, Alex miraculously lost the document. I only have a copy of the gift agreement, he told the judge. And where is the original? Asked the judge. I don't know. It seems to have been lost. Do you understand that without the original document, we cannot appoint an examination? Yes, we understand, answered Alex's lawyer. And do you understand the consequences? Asked the judge. Yes, Your Honor, we understand everything, Alex's lawyer replied. Indeed, Alex's lawyer understood that, if the court-ordered examination was conducted, his client would be held accountable for forgery. In turn, Emma's lawyer requested that the copy of the gift agreement be excluded from the evidence, due to the absence of the original. The court will consider this copy when making its decision, the judge concluded. In the court debates, Emma's lawyer spoke briefly but effectively. He outlined the entire chain of the apartment's purchase and the process of mortgage repayment, confirming each statement with a document. Thus, 95% of the total area of the apartment belongs to the plaintiff, Emma's lawyer summarized. For the lawyer, the outcome was already clear, but he didn't tell Emma anything. Every lawyer knows that the final decision is made by the judge, and no one knows which side of the bed the judge got up from today. This is why there are sometimes completely unjust decisions. In this case, however, everything ended in Emma's favor. The judge fully granted the claims. The apartment was awarded to Emma, while Alex received only a small compensation to cover the part of the joint funds used to pay the mortgage during the marriage. The parties to the court case received their documents from the court secretary and left the courtroom. "You've made us destitute," a furious Victoria yelled. "You have no conscience." Me. Emma was surprised. Did I bring non-existent documents to court? Did I want to take everything? I did everything by law and fairness. Fine. Don't pay attention, Emma's lawyer said, taking her by the arm and leading her away from the scandalous former mother-in-law. That's the story, dear viewers. Every day I publish new and captivating life stories for you. Please like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.